Welcome back to the Lifestyle Lifter Show. And today's guest is a graduate from my Peak Performance Transformation Program, and his name is Colm Conneely. Colm, welcome to the Lifestyle Lifter Show.
Thanks for having me. No bother.
My absolute pleasure. Colm, we are just finished up our 12 weeks of coaching. Fantastic results, Colm. But before we go into your progress and the gains that you made, let's all just rewind back the clock, Colm. And before you started, what were some of your challenges that you were initially faced with?
I'd say, to be honest, like I've always been training, and I probably just like, I suppose a lot of my training was fairly varied. So like I'd be doing different workouts, and I suppose probably a lack of consistency around, certain areas. So I think probably before the training, before like I started on the program, it's probably just a lack of consistency, and I suppose a lack of a goal with my training. Do you know what I mean? It was more just kind of like tipping away training the whole time, as opposed to like a clear direction of where I want to improve with my training. So yeah, I'd say probably just a lack of consistency, and also like having specific goals for my training.
So what kind of training would you've been doing then prior to that, Colm?
Oh, well, I've done everything. Like I've done everything from like CrossFit to like more like isolation stuff to kind of functional stuff. And probably what got me interested in this program was like I'm a lot more interested in the functional side of things. So obviously I saw a few of the videos or a few of your posts, and they were kind of, you were talking about different planes of movement or different planes of motion and stuff like that. So that kind of resonated with me a bit. And yeah, so that's probably kind of what attracted me to the program, was the idea of like getting onto a sort of, like a plan or a program that, kept, functional fitness in mind.
Sure.
Not just locked it into kind of like isolation or kind of bodybuildery kind of focused stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. Colm, that the quote unquote functional fitness element. Yeah, for sure, man. It is something I guess that we do try to incorporate that. I always say when you focus on your performance and that functionality, often the looks and the aesthetics come with it, Colm. But tell me then, for you, like, was there any particular moment which made you draw a line in the sand that this was a priority for you to do now?
Yeah, I think like, so I'm fairly busy with work. I have been for the last while. So like that whole idea, just like eliminating the guesswork, I was like, you know what, it'd be, first of all, to try something new, and to change it up, but also just to have like something planned out that kind of aligned with my schedule. So that was kind of the main thing. I was just like, I found that I was kind of probably going back to the lack of consistency as well. I found that I was just kind of, struggling to get good sessions in all the time. It was more like I was getting sessions in here and there and didn't really feel like I didn't feel like I was making too much progress. So I think, yeah, there was just a point where I was like, right, I'll try and prioritize this now for the next while. Try and focus in on it. And yeah, that's when I was just like, right, I'll give this a go. And yeah, definitely delighted I did anyway.
Gotcha. Yeah. Colm, how many hours a week on average are you working at the moment?
Oh, they're busy weeks, like to be 40 to 50 anyway.
Yeah.
But it depends. But like, as I said, yeah, it's just trying to like have a good consistent schedule, and then also having like the flexibility to be able to change that when you need to.
Sure. Yeah. Man, like I program my own workouts, but I'll tell you, anytime I've never done a Colm, the worst workouts I've always gone through in the gym is when I just kind of like had a bit of a plan or something in mind, and you intend to do everything. You tend to have a 10 out of 10 session, and you feel like after, an hour, an hour and 15, you got freaking nothing done, man. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess you did mention an important point there, just the guesswork taken out for you, Colm. And like, if we were to just go through some of your wins, then how did you feel, Colm, when you joined and you started seeing some results relatively quickly?
Um, yeah, well, like what I did like was from the beginning, like you set out the whole testing phase and like or the testing workouts. It was kind of like it was a positive start for me because it was like, right, at least I'm getting that kind of a baseline here, as opposed to just here's a workout, go for it. So like I liked the fact that it was kind of like there was a baseline and then it was kind of progressively increasing and just kind of, I suppose, upping the intensity of the training over the next while. So I think that was kind of something that I suppose I liked. And then of course, obviously, because of that, I was able to push the workouts a little bit harder and then started seeing results a little bit quicker.
Yeah, man. I mean, if we were to just go through, well, first of all, Colm, would you mind sharing what were some of your actual biggest wins since starting?
Well, definitely, like I found like my goal wasn't really to like lose weight as such. It was like obviously getting more lean and stuff like that was part of it, but I wasn't as concerned with like losing weight. But what I noticed was like I've kept in and around the same weight, but like I've gotten a lot leaner and built a lot more muscle, which is obviously very positive. Um, and yeah, just I feel like a lot stronger. Feel pretty fit as well. So I think just overall kind of strength and movement, I suppose, is good. So they're probably the biggest wins.
Yeah, yeah, and Colm, like if we were to look at your weight there, it didn't drop, as you said, significantly, maybe by like two kilos or so from start to finish, but just your definition and that decrease in body fat percentage, Colm, there is visible progress there. So for Colm, for anybody out there who is really like attached to the weighing scales as their only metric, what would you say to someone if the scales aren't going down, but they're noticing themselves they're getting leaner and they're also getting stronger? What advice would you give to anyone?
Um, I'd probably put it down to like energy. So like I mean, if I found that like so as I said, the weight wasn't going down like very fast or anything, but like I felt like I had energy and like I was lifting a lot heavier weights and I was like able to go on my runs and stuff. For the most part. So I mean that was a win. But yeah, like I think it's easy to get caught up. Like if fat loss is your goal, it's easy to get caught up on like the number on the scale. But you might forget that like just because the number is going down doesn't mean that you're not like losing fat and building muscle, you know. So yeah, I think it's a tricky one really. But probably just to not be overly concerned with the number.
Yeah,
Um
yeah,
and yeah, just kind of keep consistent, keep doing what you're doing.
absolutely. And Colm, you kept so consistent just with your workouts, with your schedule. Bear in mind that part of this was done in Ireland, part of this was done abroad. Um, you made absolutely no excuses. There was a few obviously weekends out here and there, Colm, but just super consistent for the most part. But if we were to just kind of look back in the program, Colm, what would you say were some of your favorite exercises? We'll start out with upper body. What were some of your the ones you enjoyed?
um but like I think you can't go wrong with like an incline dumbbell bench. But I like I like a lot of the squats and kind of the deadlift movements and stuff, kind of any of them that are around the compound movements. Like I enjoyed that. I felt like the workouts as well, they got kind of tougher, but like I got better at them.
Yeah,
So like even though like the workouts were a lot harder, like I felt you were getting a lot more satisfaction out of them because like you were goosed at the end of the workout. But like you feel like you feel like you've made progress. Best movements, something that I hadn't really been doing much of, was like the cross hack squats. Is that what they're called?
The
Excited.
Cossacks, yeah, the goblet Cossack squats, amazing
Yeah.
exercise. Yeah,
So
yeah,
like a lot of the movements where it was like not your standard like maybe squat where it involves moving in like a different plane of motion or something. I felt like that was new to me.
yeah,
But like I think that was good. Like I'll definitely keep up those types of exercises.
yeah,
So yeah, probably just like the variation. There was a couple of new exercises in there that I wouldn't have prioritized or wouldn't have really done before.
yeah,
So I think they were pretty good.
yeah, yeah. So for anyone listening, the goblet Cossack squat, you hold a dumbbell in a goblet position, you plant your 2 feet as wide as your mobility allows you to go, and let's just say you shift your hips back to the left and you simultaneously point your right toe in the opposite direction. So it's kind of like a side lunge, except your 2 feet are planted in the floor. And just a side note, anyone who wants to improve their overall hip mobility and just get stronger adductors and groins, definitely do those. They're called Cossack squats. They are brilliant. Yeah, Colm, they're a firm favorite of mine as well. And Colm, looking at your numbers too, like for someone who was doing a cut now and who was getting leaner, like you were squatting 140, you were repping it for like 8 to 10 reps. You must have felt pretty proud hitting big numbers, like almost 2x your body weight for 10 total reps.
Yeah, but like I think it comes down to that again. It's just like consistently building. So like at the start, like I definitely did get stronger throughout it. Like I wasn't doing those numbers at the start
You
at
were
all.
you were doing your testing workout. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel it was 110 for a treble, maybe.
I think so around that. Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
wow, like that's 30 kilos added in 12 weeks, but you're doing it for reps as well. Like if that's your 10 RM, I'd estimate your 1 RM, you're probably looking at 160 to 170 cut them.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you feel as the strength started to increase as well?
Um, like it did get a bit harder. Like obviously as I was cutting the calories towards the end, but like overall, just like slowly increasing it. Um, and then you kind of build with the confidence as well. But like you just feel stronger. So like you're kind of really pushing yourself to go for the heavier weight as opposed to thinking you're gonna croak underneath the weight. Like but yeah, no, I think just like yeah, it all comes down to consistency, really, just like slowly building it up. Um and yeah, no, it was good. I was happy with that.
And what was your overall your proudest moment, Colm?
Um Probably just being able to stay on track. So like a couple of like throughout the 12 weeks, there was a couple of times like when I was away, where like I just maybe didn't really watch the calories and just like took a couple of nights off, maybe 2 nights off, went out for a few beers or whatever, or went out for like a meal, and just instead of throwing it all out the window, just like within a day or two, kind of just got back into my routine again. So obviously, like for a couple of days, you might feel a bit heavier on the scales, or you might kind of be a bit more bloated, but in overall, it didn't really affect my progress that much. It was just kind of temporary, and like as soon as I got back on track, I just kept chipping away at it. So I'd say that's probably the thing I'm most proud of, is just kind of like being able to have the flexibility but stay on track, like which was good.
Yeah. Would that have been something, Colm, that you would have been challenged with before? Kind of that all or nothing mentality that it's either a 10 out of 10 perfect, or when it's good, and when it's bad, that can compound too.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think it's easy to just throw in the towel after,
Yeah.
like if you go for a couple of nights on the beer and then it's like, ah, sure, I'm gone too far now. But
May as well keep going.
yeah, may as well keep going. But yeah, no, for the most part, kind of yeah, like I maybe it'd take me longer to get back into the swing of it. Whereas I feel like now and during this 12 weeks, it was like a lot easier to just kind of get back into the swing of it straight away. And obviously chatting with yourself and Kaylee, that was also helpful. So yeah, no, it was pretty good.
And now that you're finished the 12 weeks, Colm, what does life look like for you now?
Well, heading to Australia for 2 months now in November. So looking forward to that. And probably not much is going to change really with my training. Like, I'm happy to up the calories a bit more again. But yeah, like definitely just going to stay going with my training. Still keep an eye on the calories, like not go way too overboard. And yeah, just kind of keep, like, I think I've built or picked up some good habits over the last while. So just kind of keep them up, keep consistent with it. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, staying consistent is the key, man. Absolutely. And for anyone out there, Colm, who's considering getting some coaching, what would you say to him or her?
Like I'd say it's definitely worth it. Like a big one of the main reasons I decided to do coaching was to kind of just like see somebody else's perspective and see how other people are doing it. And yeah, like obviously the extra accountability and stuff like that is great. But like it's good to just see how other people are kind of training and how other people are like structuring their weeks and prioritizing. And especially, you know, you have like the calls and stuff like that with different people in the program. So it's kind of easy to see, you know, how everyone else is making progress. And if somebody's having challenges in certain areas, you might be having the same types of challenges. So like you can find new or better ways of doing things. So yeah, just go for it, really.
Yeah, and Colm, with that too, with the group coaching calls as well. Like I always say, it's amazing, Colm, some of the challenges that you may have been faced with initially come week one, when you were on, let's say, week 7, week 8, or down the line, you were almost answering some of those questions because you knew what it felt like to feel the same way at that particular moment in time. So you really grow, you really develop as you go through it as well, Colm. And there's a lot of people out there as well, Colm, who feel that, you know, they're going to wait for the perfect time, that maybe it's after Christmas now, or in January, when new year, new me, or after Thanksgiving, etc., etc. For anyone out there, Colm, who's thinking like that, it has to be the perfect time to do it, what advice would you give?
I would say to look at it as like a long-term thing, like as in not just like a diet. Like I don't think you should look at it as the approach that like you want to go dieting, or that you want to go like just do a short program. Like I think you should look at it as a kind of a long-term approach of like you want to build certain training habits, or you know, maybe even if it's eating, like certain eating habits or whatever. So like I think there's no like wrong time to start with that. It's like the sooner you start the better. And yeah, like it's just the earlier you start building these habits, and then maintaining them, just I suppose the better your results are going to be over time.
Absolutely, yeah. Like what I always say, because I completely understand when people think that things need to be perfect, but I guess the real thing, Colm, is Christmas will always be there. There's always going to be weddings coming up. There's always going to be nights out. So what we like to say is, if you can actually find, the harder the season you're entering, the better the time it is to do it. Because if you can go through, let's just say Christmas, or you can go through holiday that you have in between, and sure, you might gain a small bit of weight, or even if you maintain, but you come out of that, you know, still in a good position, that's going to give you so much more confidence that you don't need to press the pause button and wait for things to be perfect. That if you can go through those difficult times, how much more progress are you going to be able to make when you do have a free schedule and free calendar for 12 or 15 weeks with nothing on? So it's just a case of being able to manage those seasons. Because Colm, you could have easily said, I'm going to wait until I get home from Spain, or I'm going to wait until until my work schedule dies down and these deadlines I don't have. But you didn't make excuses, man. And here you are now, and your results do the talking for yourself. So Colm, just on my end, it's been an absolute, or our end, it's been an absolute pleasure coaching you. And we always ask for three things, Colm: that you have a pretty decent attitude, all right, that you stay in the plan and follow the path as best you can, and that you're coachable. And you ticked all those three boxes in abundance, Colm. So we just want to say a massive thank you to you, and well done in your brilliant results.
Cheers, Adrian. Likewise.
Okay, Colm, I'll leave you go. Thanks for hopping on, Colm.
No bother. Talk to you later.